102 teams to go on my road to predict all 131 teams this college football off season. Guys, we're moving on now to the Texas Tech Red Raiders, and this is going to be a very interesting team to watch, in my opinion, in 2022. But a lot of changes coming to this Texas Tech program. Got a new head coach coming in. Got a new offensive coordinator coming in, and that involves a new offensive scheme for this team as well. So definitely a lot of changes coming to this Texas Tech program this year. And over the next couple of years, this team is starting to just recruit better and better. So, however, with the new head coach and the new offensive coordinator, can this be the year that Texas Tech finds themselves more of a player in the Big 12 Conference, leading up to some of the better recruiting classes coming in the nation as of right now? Or will this be more of a feeling out year and a look towards the future for Texas Tech? What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate, and welcome to my channel. I'm predicting all 131 teams this college football season, which means I'm doing your favorite teams. So go ahead, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, so you guys know when that video gets uploaded. And otherwise, for my Texas Tech fans out there, you guys are going to know a lot more about this team than me. So if you feel like you want to add something on to the video, feel like I missed something, whatever have you, please leave that in the comment section down below, and I will be happy to read through what you have to say. So let's talk about Texas Tech in 2022. They are my 9th ranked team in the Big 12 Conference coming into 2022. This is the team that, again, we got to understand what they did in 2021. It was a fairly solid year, 7-6, 3-6 overall, went to a bowl game, won that bowl game. Overall, offensively, defensively, some pretty good numbers. However, in one key area that I will mention here in a little bit, but offensively, 416 yards per game and 30 points per game. Again, they're bringing in a new offensive system, and we will see what that looks like here in 2022 for Texas Tech. And I'll talk about who they have bringing in here in a little bit. But the defensive side of the ball definitely could use some improvement. We know the offense is going to improve based on who they're bringing in, which, again, I'll tell you in a little bit. But the defense, you'd like to see some steps in the right direction. 411 yards per game last year and around 32 points per game last year. So even though they were outgaining their opponents on average, their opponents were outscoring them on average, which is just something that you kind of want to be the opposite, right? If you are outgaining your opponent, you definitely want to be outscoring your opponent as well. That's something Texas Tech is going to want to look to do this year in 2022. Taking a look at some of the talent that is leaving and coming in, of course, that new head coach is Joey Mcguire. That offensive coordinator, Texas Tech fans, I'm sure you already know it, but it's Zac Kittley for those who don't. And he had one of the best offenses in the entire country at Western Kentucky last year. So expect the offensive numbers to be pretty outstanding for Texas Tech this year. But they are losing quarterback Henry Colomby, was the leading passer last year. 1,291 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions for Colomby last year. And your 2 top targets are leaving as well. Eric Ezunkama and Kalen Geiger. Between the two of them, around 1,200 yards and 5 touchdowns between the two. So you lose your 2 leading receivers from last year. Also, you lose your 4th leading receiver from last year in Travis Kuntz, the tight end. 306 yards and 4 touchdowns for him a season ago as well. On the defensive side of the ball, you lose a lot of leading tacklers. Colin Schooler had 107. He's gone. Eric Monroe had 82. He's gone. Rico Jeffers had 72. And he is gone. You're also losing some other guys like Devin Drew, DeMarcus Fields, who had 11 passes defended last year, did DeMarcus Fields, as well as some other players on the board there as well. So definitely lots of good talent leaving this Texas Tech team. And when you look at the defensive end, again, for a defense that's trying to take steps in the right direction, definitely not a plus to see your 3 leading tacklers leaving this team. But returning to the offensive side of the ball for a little bit, there's still a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball, and a lot of talent that personally I like. Tyler Shuck and Donovan Smith should be battling it out for that starting quarterback spot. Smith had 1,181 yards, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions last year, and Tyler Shuck, 872 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. The main difference between them, completion percentage. Smith had around a 61% completion percentage, while Tyler Shuck had almost a 70% completion percentage. So I think Tyler Shuck probably going to be able to get that starting quarterback spot here for Texas Tech in 2022. But Donovan Smith can absolutely push for that spot there as well. When you look at the running back game, Taj Brooks, SirRoderick Thompson, hey, they're both back. And hopefully they're both back healthy as well. I know SirRoderick Thompson has had some things in the past couple seasons go wrong for him injury-wise, but Brooks, 568 yards, 7 touchdowns, Thompson, 500 yards, 10 touchdowns. Very, very, very good production overall from the running back room, and I think it can be even better. Also in the running back room, we're going to look to shift more towards the wide receiver aspect is Xavier White. He was their third leading rusher last year, also tacked on 133 receiving yards with a touchdown as well. So, again, he's going to look to transition more to that wide receiver room. We'll see how well it works out for Texas Tech. But you also have guys like Miles Price and Loic Fuwanji. Again, I apologize if I mispronounced that name, and I probably did. But Miles Price was the third leading receiver last year, not far behind Kalen Geiger, 523 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also have Mason Tharp, a tight end coming back, and Baylor Cupp. He's a tight end transfer from Texas A&M. On the defensive side, you got guys that can create a lot of plays. Dadrion Taylor Demerson, Rashad Williams, Krishan Merriweather, Dimitri Moore is a transfer from, I believe, Missouri State, Tyree Wilson, Jalen Hutchings, and many, many more phenomenal players on this Texas Tech defense that, again, is going to continue to look to improve their numbers. Taking a look at the schedule for Texas Tech in 2022, it looks something like this. You got Murray State, Houston, and NC State in non-conference. Now, opening up with Murray State should be a fairly easy one there for Texas Tech, but those two non-conference games, those are going to be two teams that are going to have a national ranking coming into 2022, and one of them, NC State, may very well, at the time of play, prove to have a top 10 ranking, and they got to go on the road to play that game. Otherwise, it's the Big 12. You play every single team in the conference. But for the Texas Tech Red Raiders, you got home games against Texas, West Virginia, Baylor, Kansas, and Oklahoma to cap off the season, and on the road against Kansas State, Oklahoma State, TCU, and Iowa State. So let's kind of dive into a couple of these games here a little bit. Again, if you watch my Kansas video, you might hear me repeat myself, but I'm going to expand a little bit more than I did in my Kansas video. So again, non-conference, Houston, that's a team I really like to win the American Athletic Conference this year, and I think, in my opinion, is the front runner for that conference crown this year. And NC State, they can be a top 10 team in the nation. They definitely have the talent to do so, and absolutely have the coaching to do so as well. So NC State, not going to surprise me if they have a top 10 ranking coming into this game here against Texas Tech. And with Texas Tech going to have to play that game on the road, that's going to be a little bit of a hard game to win. I don't think Texas Tech is really going to provide much of a challenge to NC State there on the road. I think the Wolfpack are going to be a very, very good football team. Otherwise, when you look at the Big 12 slate, you get a lot of games at home. You get a lot of games that you want home. Baylor, West Virginia, Texas, Oklahoma, very favorable games to have at home. But again, in the Big 12, everybody plays everybody. So going on the road to play Kansas State, that's not going to be easy. I think Kansas State may very well be a team that can surprise some people in 2022. Oklahoma State, while Jim Knowles is leaving and out of town, and while this can be a very, very explosive offense for Texas Tech, if things transition over smoothly in year one, it's still Oklahoma State on the road. They have tough coaching, and I think you're still going to have a pretty solid defense with the talent that is there. And definitely have the meat to push for another Big Ten title. When you look, there's a home game against Baylor that catches your eye as well. Home game against Oklahoma. Road game against TCU. There also catches my eye. I think that's going to be a fairly interesting game there for Texas Tech. But all in all, again, when you look at the Big 12 schedule, it's everyone plays everyone. It's just a matter of not who you get at home and who you get on the road. I do not do I don't do game-by-game prediction-based records anymore. I do a more percentage-based outlook to help me predict a team's record. So if you see a game in red, it means you're probably not going to win the game. If you see a game in orange, it means you're still probably not going to win. But hey, it's college football, and upsets can happen. Yellow are your 50-50 or upset potential games. Games in yellow-green are games that you should probably win, but watch out for the team on the other side of the ball. In games in green, you should probably win. So only 2 games in the green variety here. That's Murray State and Kansas. Kansas, I think, again, if you watch my Kansas video, I said this is going to be one of the most talented Jayhawk teams that Kansas has had in a very, very long time. And Kansas can absolutely push towards maybe 4 or 5 wins this year. So Texas Tech has got to watch out for that Kansas team. Murray State should be a cakewalk for them. But looking at their 2 non-conference games, Houston, they beat them last year. They can absolutely beat them again at home. I apologize for the notification. But when you look at that Houston team, that's a pretty solid football team there. And again, a team that I like to win the American, or one of my favorites to win the American Conference this year. And NC State, I've already said it, I think are a very, very talented group of football players. And Texas Tech going on the road, I think they're going to have a tough time winning that one. Other games in orange, I got Texas, Oklahoma State, Baylor, TCU, and Oklahoma all in orange as well. Texas, look, they've added too much to not improve. That's going to be a very good football team this year. Oklahoma State, I've already talked about that game a little bit. Home against Baylor, I feel like people are kind of thinking Baylor is going to fall off this year, and I think Baylor can still be a really, really good football team. On the road against TCU with Sonny Dykes coming in, that TCU offense should be a lot better. So expect for that TCU-Texas Tech game to be a little bit more of a shootout than it has been in years past. On the road against Iowa State is not one to flub over either. Iowa State's still got a lot of good talent. At home against Oklahoma as well. Look, with Brent Venables coming in, a lot of unknowns about this Oklahoma team. And again, I think this Texas Tech team is going to be pretty solid, but I think Oklahoma is just going to be better. All in all, guys, Texas Tech, I think, has the talent to do some really nice things this year and to absolutely make a bowl game and maybe even excel expectations in 2022. However, this year, my opinion, I see this year being a little bit more of a feeling out year for Joey Mcguire, Zac Kittley, and other coordinators. So I have Texas Tech going 5-7. Although I do see 7-5 and maybe even 8-4 as the high for this team. I could see them doing one lower there at 4-8. Again, I think what holds Texas Tech back from a bowl game this year is their non-conference slate. Conference play, I think, is going to be a little challenging for Texas Tech this year. And I think it'll take maybe a year for Zac Kittley to adjust to the Big 12 style of play. Joey Mcguire, of course, being his first gig as a head coach. We'll see what he does there. But overall, guys, this non-conference slate with Houston and NC State, it's just tough. It really is tough. And it's definitely going to be fun to watch Texas Tech this year, I do think, with Zac Kittley coming in, one of the best offensive coordinators in college football, at least proven as of last year. Texas Tech should be an exciting team, but I have them just missing a bowl game. Look to 2023, 2024. They got some great recruiting classes coming in, and Texas Tech could be a team to watch out for years down the road. But a little feeling out process, I think it's going to happen in 2022. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, anything you can do to help support the channel. And remember to play hard but tailgate harder. I'll see all you guys in the next video. Goodbye.